Hello, hello, welcome. Hello, how are you? Please let me know if you can hear me well. Oh, yeah, this works better. Hello, Fernanda, can you hear me? Hello. Hello, Giovanna, how are you? Well, uh, welcome to this space. I want to always thank you for sharing your time with me, which is the most valuable resource you have. And today we're doing like a couple of lives before the workshop. And I decided to do a different one today, which is questions and answers, because I do receive a lot of questions in my personal WhatsApp or in the messages here and in the workshops and so on. And I truly believe that the question of one person can be the question of the other. And I decided to start bringing a couple of them here. So if you have any questions that you would like to have answered, please contact me. Again, I am not here to give you any absolute truth, maybe an insight from a different perspective. So that's the goal in any talk that I do, because as I said, I'm a being just like you, having the opportunity to evolve in every day. So today we're going to answer a couple of questions about spirituality. I'm trying to actually divide into topics, so at least we can, have a line of thought. But this was in the last workshop that I was given. This woman, she asked me this, and I found it really, really interesting because it is actually a common question. So she said, okay, so just so you understand what we were talking about, we were saying that we were the co creators of our reality. I have done this quantum physics course to understand how all of this energy worked. So just to give you, the understanding of that class, well, we are energy, and energy is measured in frequencies, right? And there is certain vibrations of frequency, so low frequency and high frequency, and so on. So, and how we are the manifestors of our reality, because how can we manipulate this energy, right? In order to create what we create. So she asked me, because in that exact moment, I was actually inviting them to feel their pain, to feel the discomfort of the pain. And she comes to me and say, Ella, you are inviting me to feel my discomforts and pains. How will this affect my manifestation? Aren't we the co-creators of our reality? If my vibration is in pain, therefore low, won't I attract more of what I do not want in my life? So this is a really, really interesting question. Why? Because I said a couple of times here that universe, or whatever you want to call it, does not understand our words, but it does understand our vibration. And if you actually are new or you're not that deep into this knowledge, you might understand this new age, uh, what is the name? New age teachings from this place. Like, okay, I just have to raise my vibration and then everything is going to be fine, right? That was exactly her question. If I feel pain, wouldn't I vibrate on that? Well, this gets a little bit more complex than this. Why? If you are watching my talks, you know by now that actually what happens is, if you just say, let's say you feel really, it's super hard for you. Let's say you struggle with money. If you just keep looking at the mirror and trying to think positive thoughts, I'm rich, I'm gonna become rich soon, and you are in the couch waiting for this to happen to you. Well, you are lying to yourself. And by the way, the universe doesn't understand words. Even though you might be trying to achieve that, somehow inside of you, unconsciously, there is something that it's still vibrating in scarcity. And what is that? These are the stories you have lived. This is what I like to call the opportunities that you are having to actually evolve, to see that from a different perspective, to work with any tools in order to heal that. Because then you're going to be vibrating on that. Let's say, in this case of scarcity, somehow, if you actually do the self purification, which is the internal work, you will be able to start vibrating, to start understanding reality from a different point. Not necessarily that you are abundant right away, but maybe you're going to be able to start trusting life, start trusting your talents, start trusting your capacity to get there. So it's really important that we understand that these new age teachings, okay, which is, listen, I am, anyways, I'm gonna get into that, but that just says, oh wow, whenever you manifest, because I said that a couple of times, you are the co-creator of your reality, the good things and the bad things. However, if we don't go deep into this kind of get dangerous. Why? Am I, so this goes to the new age teachings, which is, we tend to feel great when we manifest something that we actually want, a new job, a new love. However, if we suffer a trauma, we start feeling guilty, we start feeling uh, sad with ourselves, we start feeling mad at ourselves. Well, then we have a misconception of this. So now I'm going to tell you what I believe, how I see life, because true and honestly, no one alive has the answers to the timeless questions. Who are we? What are we doing here? Where we come from? Where we going? No one does. So, and every single human being has a free will. So now I'm going to share with you my point of view from a person that actually works on this and is absolutely involved on this. For many years, trying to learn from every experience and every single line of philosophy and religion I could. Well, what I believe is it doesn't matter if I don't have absolute answers because I won't have. This is part of my illusion, right? So if I don't have the answers for these questions, why wouldn't I decide in what I believe? I believe we are here to evolve. And I understand that if I am energy and if I am vibrating something that my outside world I'm not is not what I want, that means somehow I am doing that from my unconsciousness. So I have to do the internal work in order to be able to start manifesting what I want. So look how different this is. I'm not inviting you to pretend that pain and discomfort does not exist. I'm actually telling you that is through your pain and discomfort, that is through your self purification that you actually start vibrating higher. Think about here with me. We have talked about this a couple of times, but let's say the Catholic or Christian dogma. Before, the belief was you are a sinner and therefore you will be punished by God, correct? So you would do the right things because somehow you were afraid of something. Maybe, okay? The new age tells you if you vibrate low, that's your problem. Well, it's kind of the same thing with a different clothes, with a different packaging, but it goes from the same place. So somehow this takes our power away. I have said here a couple of times, we are humans and we should experience this. So for I believe we are a soul, okay, having this experience of human in this human body. So we are having the opportunity every day to evolve because why would I live since I'm already alive? Why wouldn't I walk this path in the best way that I can walk this path? And the best way is not going around my pains, is actually going through them. Okay, so going back to her question, well, This, if you are afraid, let's give an example. If you are afraid of success, you can think as much as you want that you want to be successful. If you don't go there and integrate and do the self knowledge work inside of you, in order for you to start to change that misconception, to understand that, yes, somehow, at some point in your life, you believe that you were not good enough. You believe you didn't have what it takes to get there, or whatever it is. So if you're not go there and understand this and clear this misconception, how will you manifest it differently in the outside world? Correct? So, my invitation here for you is the invitation of self liberation, because here's the thing, a lot of ours, that's the most important thing, a lot of our fears, they are unconscious. Our resistances, the characteristics of our lower self, we don't understand why. So, whenever there is a defense, a resistance, there is pain. So whenever I told her, feel your pain, this is to bring that pain into consciousness, because it's whenever it's there, you're not going to be vibrating into the fear. And that's how you change your outside reality from the inside out. Is not by denying that you are going to feel discomfort. Okay, this is the misconception we have to understand, because us as human beings, that's how we work. That's natural part of us. We don't want to go where it's uncomfortable. Why? Because we think we're going to die. And then I've been in so many lives talking about this, but I just wanted to point out this today. Again, suffering comes from our attachment and aversion. We resist. So becoming free internally from this necessity of pleasure and trying to avoid the pain is literally transcend that inside of you. And that's the only way. Because if you keep pretending that that's not happening, that that's not hurting, guess what? Situations are going to manifest again in your life with different people, different scenarios. But the root cause of the pain is always going to be the same, because you didn't get there. You didn't go there to heal that. So one thing that I wanted to bring here as well is, let's say the other day, another person actually was talking about trauma, because people are super quick in order to say, how can you say we manifest our reality? Do you think I would have manifested something that hard? So again, who has these answers? Just give me a second. Yes. Hey, can you open the gate for the plumber, please? Hello, can you guys tell me if you're still hearing me? Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back. Hope you are hearing me. Uh, I kind of lost my line of thought. hmm Oh, yes, I remember now. Well, about the traumas, right? And people come to me and say, how come would I do that? So, what I believe in the belief system and the philosophy that I follow, which is a spiritual path, that there is no religion attached. Okay, so what I believe is We are in this life, once again, having the opportunity to evolve. Hello. Um, and there is never a right or wrong answer, ever. So, truly, this concept of being right or am I doing this right? So, I am pretty sure you got confused a couple of times in your life. Is this the right way? This certainty that we want to have of the future is a misconception of the human part of us because the only certainty is change. Whenever you die, you might believe there is nothing and that's it. But I believe you just transform. We are in the in the endless state of transformation. So if there is no right or wrong, what I believe is our soul is here to evolve because I believe I'm a soul living the experience in this body. So there is no right way or wrong way to go. So whenever we talk about traumas, let's say, you can actually choose going right or going left. That doesn't change. Your soul is going to put situations in your path in order for you to look inside and have the ability to evolve. So whenever we say like, oh, we create this trauma, no, maybe if you didn't go out that night, that situation wouldn't have happened exactly in that way. But it's not because you are vibrating low. That's why it's so important for us to do the self transformation and integration because we don't want to keep repeating those patterns. I invite you get any type of any part of your life. It can be your work, it can be your love relationship. Try to look for the patterns. Are you manifesting the same problems with different people, different scenarios, different situations? Well, that's because that's your soul invitation. Okay, so the whole idea here is what is our resilience to go through that? How do we learn? How do we change our perspective and take different actions? So, whenever I tell you you're manifesting what is good or bad, because by the way, this is just a label that our mind does this in this reality, right? We label things. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. Everything is one thing. I might perceive something as right and good, and you might perceive as the worst thing you ever saw in your life. Correct? So I hope you got this idea. And I want to go to the second question, actually, that is going to be the last one for today because these calls are not really helping me. Well, the question was like this. Um, Wait, where did I put the other question? Ella, how do I deal with a person that feels that has a victim personality complex? I remembered about the live you talked about mask. Can you please explain to me a bit about which one this person is using? Ella, you said was a spirituality. Why are you talking about a relationship question? Well, I found this interesting because I want to bring a couple of points here that we have discussed previously, which is what does she mean by victim complex? Okay, just to also situate you, it is a person that is constantly putting her as, oh my God, the monster of his life. Everything she does affects him, and she's like, how do I deal with that person? Well, so I started for this understanding. The victim, correct? We all might feel like that sometimes in our lives. There are people that have this personality or that feels that more times than the other people. And the problem with the victim is the victim can never change their life because they are a victim. They are waiting for a savior. So they believe in bad luck. They believe that they have no idea why those things happen to him, to the person. Why? So this goes really with what we were talking before. Well, if we're having this opportunity to live this life, and I think we all agree that we want to live in the best way possible, like in peace, don't feeling those things, you have to go through the discomforts and so on. Correct? Well, so uh, the whole thing is a victim tends to be a person that doesn't see her power. That's what truly happens. That person truly believes life is happening to them and not through them. And in my personal opinion, us humans that do that, we are wasting a really big chance to evolve, to look from a different point. And by the way, don't get me wrong, there were times whenever are in the dark times of our soul that maybe we just need to use our energy to survive. And that's completely fine. Be empathic with yourself, with your process. Okay, but let's say that this is something that have been extending to yourself. Well, look and say, why am I attached to the idea that everything bad happens to me? Where am I not stepping into my power to see things differently? Am I not putting limits into other people? Or some kinds like that. So it is on that person to actually look at that, because one thing that I have learned as well, we cannot teach colors to the blind. You can try right now to teach a blind people how green looks, or what is the difference between blue and green. Am I saying we are superior? Absolutely not. All I'm saying is the person is just gonna see what the person is ready to see, what the person wants to see. So my whole point for this woman that actually asked this question for me was, we already know that we cannot do anything for the other unless the other is open to it, unless the other wants the help and is going to ask the help. So the real question you should be asking yourself is, why am I trying to deal and solve the problems of that person? Because honestly, when I say the other does not exist, what do you mean by that, Ella? Well, I mean that the other is simply a reflection, an opportunity, the biggest opportunity we have in order to observe and see ourselves. Because if I feel insecure with that person, forget about the external world. Remember, it's always from the inside out. Why do I feel insecure? This has something to do with me. So if the other feels like a victim, you can also not do anything. Because, if you're putting yourself in this place of savior, you are getting out something out of that, even if it's unconsciously and you are not sure what it is. You can tell me, I love that person. I'm not saying you cannot love that person. All I'm saying is, why and how you want to treat a person that has a victim personality, let's put it this way, a victim complex. Well, you should give attention. You should make her feel that she's the most important person on earth for you, that you're going to drop your whole life to take care of her needs. That's how they want to be treated. Is this freeing our consciousness? Absolutely not. So, if you wonder how you want to treat that person in order to maintain her in your side, so the real question for me is, why do you want to maintain that person in your side? Okay? Or what you're getting from that? Because maybe when we are fixing other people's problem, we are actually not looking to our own selves. And this specific case, they break up, come back. It's kind of like a interesting relationship, let's put it this way. But that's the whole point. So it's don't get, because people love to get like these little sentences and create something different from what is being said. So obviously each case is each case. I hope you understand the idea here, which is, the question is not how do I deal with that person? The question is, why are you in that situation? Why are you being affected by that situation? We just have the power over us. So she asked me about masks, right? And I just want to bring back here. what I believe about masks, not what I believe, no, what I teach, what is the philosophy, right? So I understood that, kind of got a little bit confused. So I want to just, in summary, bring that up, which is we are one whole being. But that is so hard for our mind to grasp reality in different levels. So, for example, you might not even you might have not even thought about this, or you might have, and you're like, listen, this is such a dark hole that I'm not even going to ask those questions to myself, right? Where do I come from? I don't know. Let me just try to live my life in the best I can, and that's it. Well, I invite you to do the most important work you could be doing, which is work on yourself, because then this is going to change your whole life, and things are going to be easier. You're going to have more time, uh, simply because you know yourself. You're not going to be hitting the wall for the same issue the rest of your life. That's the idea. It's not that it gets easy, it's you just understand how to stay in the discomfort. Okay, so I brought these labels and divided us humans in a couple of things so we could talk and understand what we're talking about, but just understand we are whole. And if you think how interesting this is, how we don't understand, we are all one. You probably heard that before. If you're listening to me, you probably heard that. What does that mean to you in reality? So think about that one. That's more or less where I'm going. Okay, so I'm dividing us here, but we truly are whole. Okay, how do I divide people so we can talk? Well, I'm calling us that we have a part of ourselves that is our higher self. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. I'm sorry. Here it is. There is our true self. This is who we are. That englobes everything that I'm going to tell you right now. That's our true selves. Then there is our higher self. That is that one that remembers the truth. Remembers we're much more than this. Okay? Then there is our lower self, which is that one that feel what we call discomfort and pains. Let's say envy, stubbornness, obstination, pride, these parts. And then we have our inner child. Our inner child is the one inside of us that feels the pain. Okay, that's why you hear a lot inner child wounds. When you hear about shadow work, what they are doing literally is working through our inner child pains, they are working our lower self. Okay, you see, they are just names, but they all bring you to the same place. But remember, you are the source, you are the power. So you are the one in charge to do your self purification. Okay, what are the masks that you talked about? Well, masks in sum are things we put in front of us. Masks can be mask of love, mask of power, or mask of serenity. We just use these masks, and we all have all the masks, and we use them in different situations. Some people use more, some people use less. There is obviously parts of our lives that we use one more, especially if we're not aware. Using mask means we want the other to perceive us from something different than we are. Example, the world is falling down, like your world is crashing down, and you put your mask of serenity and you pretend to the other that you are serene, that everything is going to pass and you are fine. As long as you are aware of the masks that you're using, I'm happy with that. You know, if, literally, that's the first stop, because this all comes from what? Our defenses, our resistance in accepting what it is. So the invitation is to transcend all of that, right? And to change our reality, because this is the beauty of this path that I'm inviting you to walk with me, which is it is true that is in our unconscious, that is our pains, that is our lower self, that is understanding the masks we use. Because whenever we give names, somehow it gets easier for us. If I'm gonna pretend I have all this power, I know what I'm doing, because I need to. If I know I'm using, I'm like, okay, did I really need to use that, or I just have to work on my self-esteem? For the next time, I actually know that I didn't need to use this mask of power, that I know everything. You see more or less where I'm going? So the invitation is, and the beauty of this work actually is, whenever you go through this process that I'm inviting you to go through, you are not changing the outside world. You're truly not. As soon as you start working in your inside world, As a consequence, your outside world changes. And that's where quantum physics comes. And that's where the new age comes. However, be careful with the things that I told you before. It's not about denying reality. It is about you actually going inside of yourself and understanding. It's not about, I cannot. Whenever you are like this and you start, I should not be thinking this way, I should not be feeling this way, you didn't get the work. The invitation is for you to actually stay there. You are feeling that way. Accept that. Feel that. Feel the pain. Feel whatever you're feeling. Feel the anger. Feel it. Don't do nothing about it. You're going to feel it. And next time you allow yourself to feel a little bit more and a little bit more, you'll see. You will understand. You'll go deeper into yourself. And you're going to be like, oh, wow. Now life is not presenting me with 1,000 different circumstances in another people for me to learn that. How interesting. Everything changes as a consequence. Something that before would get you, would trigger you. As of right now, it has a different value in your life. It has a different way. So that's the beauty of this work. So to finalize, my answer to her was, okay, I can answer you all the questions that you believe regards it is about him. But my invitation for you is look inside of you and understand why. Why? I am thinking that I have to deal or to fix the other person situation that, by the way, just that I believe it has. Why you're putting yourself in that situation? Because that's the only power we have. So always remember to bring to you, because yes, that person might be everything that you're telling me. Might use the mask, might be the victim of the world, might make you feel all the things. Yes, completely. However, do you have any power over the other? Oh, just about you. And bringing this truth to our mind is literally where it lies. Why am I trying to get from this? That's the question we should be doing. It's not how am I going to deal with the other person. Well, if you're able to deal with yourself, I'm going to tell you something. You're already doing a great job. A great, great job. Because once again, the problem is never in the other. So I want to thank you so much for being here with me today. I have tried 3 times to do this live. Hopefully, I was able to answer this, to share these 2 questions here. And we, in the other lives, we talk much more about this. I just wanted to bring up because, I don't know, I think instead of answering to one person, maybe this can help other people. Again, no absolute truths. It's a spiritual path, really, that if walked together with other people, it gets much easier. So remember, as more as you believe you know, really look for your questions to change. Because at least for me, they know that saying, as more as I know, the less that I know. So I guess light is even off. So thank you so much. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye bye.